Good evening, everyone.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to First Suit Performance, isn't it?
Yes, yes. Performance and characterization.
Yes, which does sound very,
Yes.
Somebody at the back, shut the door.
Oh, yeah?
The door is
People can ask if they want to get in.
Yep.
Yeah, if you want to come in,
Get in or get out?
feel free to come in and out.
It's just so
There's
just
always
it's
one
just
inside.
gonna shove like this.
That's loose.
Yeah, that means no one feel left out.
Right. Welcome aboard. Be careful about the kids. They're not sturdy. So, characterization, design, first performance, a bit about that. And we have a lovely little agenda for you. And some games. Audience participation is mandatory, so don't think you're getting away with it.
How about the games? Okay.
Awesome. I think the red thing.
So basically, yeah, I'm Zuki, known for my characters as Pazuzu. You might know him. He's a talking suit, so that's a bit more complicated than say just the mute kind of stuff. I've also got a zombie opossum called Sykes, who's a bit of a nasty piece of work. I've got a gargoyle, that's Zuki. He's more or less normally a silent suit, that kind of thing. And Silverfoxwolf has actually you can go through a character.
At last count, I think I've got to wait, but that's just currently. The only two that I've brought with me this time are Silver, the clockwork suit, and first it's made by Mercury, called Sergeant Growler, who was out and about earlier in the opening ceremony, was outside. So, yeah, that's me. I have a few different characters. Yes.
I'm sorry, but I just needed to tell you this real quick that the sketch you ordered for me, the dealer's done is done, and can I just give it to you like after the panel?
Yes, you can.
Yes, okay.
Well, that's good. I like it. It's multi-function. We don't cover many things apparently. We're going to dive into the job stuff. Look at that one. So we have got a few different characters. I have Safety Fox, who's a red, white, and black fox with a hiding door jacket built in. He has been confused with Germans before, unfortunately, because of the colours, the way his skin is, can confuse people. We've got Colin the Collie, put some pictures of him as well, just in case you want to have a look. And Xanthus, Black Demon Wolf, who hasn't come down today.
It's all about the demons.
It's all about the demons, the big scary demons, and a few others. But I have a range of characters that are from realistic to me, so I've got a scale to go on.
Yeah. So what I want to talk about today is like how we came up with those characters, but also talk about you guys and what characters you've come up with and how you found, if you do perform them, how you found trying to begin performing them. Because there are no real right answers about any of this. It's all about your personal experiences as well as ours, and saying what things work for you, what things don't. Let's have a bit of open discussion about it as well. So how many people here actually have a fursuit? Quite a lot already. Yeah.
That's a good percentage. Very good percent. I know about you.
All the fursuiters are like,
how many then came up with their character before the fursuit, or got their character from seeing their fursuit? So how many came up with it before they got into it? Okay.
So, character before the suit, or
Yeah.
that's the question.
Character before
Yeah.
suit, yeah.
So yeah, the
Sometimes
question is,
yeah, sometimes afterwards.
Just to be clear, we have one here that's almost half deaf, so we should speak a bit louder
all right, I
and
will.
clearly.
I can just talk a little bit faster, so I'm sorry.
Does lip reading help?
Yeah, she's lip reading.
Good.
Okay, so
We can manage that.
so the idea is, I mean, sometimes you'll have a really good idea for a character to begin with, and sometimes when you put the suit on, that character kind of comes to you, and you kind of pick up on that character as you go along. So there is that divide between the two, and I guess we'll talk about that a bit later on. So yeah. So I guess, I mean, a few of you did put your hands up there.
We have a little bit of, I come from musical cats as well, so we have a little bit of all the scale from pre-made characters, so to say, to characters you design on your own, and characters that develop by your wearing them.
That's true, yes. You can have characters that you, I mean, I suppose a lot of the time it will come from characters that you've maybe role-played online, or if you've had a very good, certainly with furry, you've got a very good idea of who you are before you can get to the stage of having a fursuit. A lot of the problems that you can have are in transferring that kind of character in your head to a series of actions that you actually perform. I'm going to that as well. I think it's interesting. Yeah. Do you want to say about the talk in general?
No, I think we've just covered everything basically with the introduction, so good.
Okay, so, alright then. So when you start off, I guess you have the initial idea of a sort of character in your head. I mean, the way that I normally approach it is I'll look at what things am I naturally good at, what things do I know how to do, like for instance with Pazuzu, I know that I can do certain accents, so both Sykes and Pazuzu come out of the fact that I can do Pazuzu's accent fairly easily, and I know that his personality is kind of slightly based on that accent. And similarly with Sykes, that's kind of an easy Cockney accent to do. So the idea is that one of the main ways you can do it is to base it on your own characters or your own talents. You know, so if you're good at certain things, then a good idea is to start by basing a character on those talents itself.
Isn't all of our actors, characters, actors and fuses and whatever, somewhat based on what we are and what we can do for ourselves?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's a good basis to start with, because then, when you're in suit, you're often a little bit confused about what's going on. You don't know whether you can perform, so you can fall back on things that you know that you're very good at. So.
Life experience also tends to be quite useful. When this guy came about into being, the only real definition I had was I wanted a police dog.
Yeah.
So, therefore, I made a police dog, and having been in the police for 5.5 years, you had all of the mannerisms. You knew what you wanted to do, you knew how you wanted to walk, and you wanted to shoo people along, and go ahead. And he formed from that entire basis. There wasn't really a specific design before that. Even the colour scheme was just, I want a German Shepherd. So therefore, this was produced, and it's designed to be clean. It's not designed to be scary. I don't want him to be a scary police dog, so he's two type jaws, floppy ears. Very floppy ears, in fact.
Fursuit spot for you.
Fursuit floppy
He
ears.
looks like, for me, it looks cuter, like just friendly without the rest. Because when he puts him on, I don't think he's just a cuddly, friendly dog. It's like, don't mess with him. His body language says a lot. Just the
That
head
comes
is one
with the
thing.
uniform.
The
When you have
uniform
on the
has a
uniform,
big
you got
effect.
the certain
It helps.
aura.
It's what you're trying to basically send to people. I want to send an idea to someone and say, right, I'm a police dog, so I do it with the uniform. The little simple vest, you can get them off eBay. Chairs are right. We'll carry them anyway. But the idea is the badges, everything about it, the accents and details. It gives an idea that only you can see. If I want somebody to be afraid of a big suit, big scary, not weapons, but simple things can make a big difference to the suit. Really accentuating it. Silver came about slightly different because he was the main character. It was about 1995 when I first created that character. So he's been around a long time. He's had a lot of time to organically develop. I didn't really consciously think of a way to develop it. It just happened. So this feels right. So he gets portrayed as equal.
And that's the kind, I see lots of musicals and theatre play, and that's the kind of character development you get when you see a theatre from the start or the premiere, and one of the latest on you get the character development on the way.
That's exactly how it sort of happened. And the suit was the development of sort of 10 years of, you know, trying to work out what I wanted, who would build a good suit. We might come into that a bit later, that might be more for fursuit construction, but the character design is important to know what you want in the first place.
Yeah. That's interesting actually, because I think about the development of Pazuzu. He started out because I wanted a character that was a demon and had 4 horns and hooves and wings, and that was it. That was a complete blank slate to begin with. It was just I ordered the suit from Clockwork. We came up with the design together, but there was no personality with him whatsoever. And because he took quite a long time to construct, I had about a year to think about on how I'm going to act in. And at first I thought, okay, I'll go with my standard modus operandi with my gargoyle character, which is quite stompy and growls at people and doesn't really talk very much. But I found, and this is something that you will find as well, is if you design a character like that, it's quite hard to interact with people. If you want a character that is mean and nasty, if you're going to maintain that character, you're going to have to be mean and nasty all the time, and it's not fun. You know, being a bad guy isn't very fun, especially in a environment like this. I think like anime cons, it's a little bit more fun because people like facing off and doing things like that. But at furry cons, you're just going to be very unpopular and shove in the corner somewhere with a bucket on your head. But so I thought, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to try a different approach with him. And he does look pretty mean if you look at him, apart from those cute eyes. I thought, so what? So I just started thinking through how would I make him approachable as well as being this mean, nasty character. And I just came up with the idea that he's mean and nasty, but he's also completely incompetent. And it's like, he doesn't know what he's doing, and he's a coward, and all these things. And that acts as a counterpoint. Oh, you have a question?
Best example that I've seen you is like, I'm gonna eat your soul. Nom 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 nom.
No. And so okay, I had this idea now, and I sort of had an idea of an accent, Pazuzu, like this. But then I thought, how can I practice? I don't know. There's no way to practice. So I would actually on my commute in and out of work, I would practice having road rage in Pazuzu. And it really worked. It's worked so well because you have to deal with loads of different situations when you're in character. So the more you practice, the more you just do random things in that character. And doing it in your car when no one can hear you is perfect because you don't want to be an idiot. Then you just do it. It's like, why you drive like that? You are so stupid. It just worked really well, and I just managed to define the character over that impending year by slowly role-playing him myself and just thinking about how he was going to react to different situations. And then once I got into suit, that was it. It was straight in character immediately because I've just done it so many times. So practice is a very good thing in this circumstance. And he turned out really good. He's so much fun to play. My funnest character to play of all the ones that I've got.
And everybody loved this.
Have anyone of you got the character that's already existed from like a movie or a fan fiction or something musical or whatever?
No, I've never created a character that's already in existence from TV shows. Partly because of copyright, and partly because people that have a character already defined, you have to play it exactly in that way, or people won't believe that it's that character. It's mascot, really.
So have any of you guys done that? Have you tried playing a character that's predefined from a
As in
TV
cosplay?
show? It's pretty much like cosplay, yeah.
Not like a suit. But like I've cosplayed a few times, but I'd much prefer person.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I haven't done that, and I find that really daunting. The idea of trying to play somebody else's canon character
it's
is
not
like,
you.
no, I'm not even going to touch it.
Well, I have a cat costume that was pre-made for a Swedish cat show. Not the Parisia fursuit, but pretty close to it anyway. But I tend to take my own character, my own persona when having him,
So you do it,
and take my own treat rather than copying his actor.
Well, that's good because I mean, obviously you might have seen that character act in Cats as a one-off, but how do you react in lots of other different situations is the really difficult part. And when you're taking a character that's somebody else's and trying to imagine how they would act in that situation, it doesn't work very well for me.
It's not me then, it's someone else character.
Exactly.
But I rather prefer it, because that's what all actors do. They've taken their own take on that character.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's what you should expect when you're seeing someone completely different perform a character.
And that's when you design your own characters. It is really important to not try and copy anyone else, not to be yourself, and to have that kind of energy for the character come from inside. And that's, for me, that's definitely what happened with Pazuzu. It gradually built up over time, coming from my own ideas, things that I thought would be funny. And by the time I got the suit, I was just so psyched to actually start acting in it, at that point, that it really works so well. And it's that enthusiasm for your own characters that drives these things most of the time.
And sometimes there are completely random ones where I had a bizarre idea to have a character that had a high visibility jacket built into the suit. Primarily because the police vest that this one wears has a nice reflective strip across here. And there have been problems with people photographing him where they have a flash that goes straight or it bounces up, and all you see is just this one stripe across here and two eyes. And I was just getting really annoyed with it, and it was like, in a studio setup, it's fine because you can bounce light from behind you, you can do it from up above, and it comes around, it really does show the suit. But this didn't, and people expect to see this character now with the vest, so I can't really wear it without it.
Like trying to take photographs with the black colored characters in a black room.
With a black
With
background.
the camera that does that.
It doesn't work.
As a black character,
And you have black clothes to shed, so black on black is also a good idea.
So I ended up with this idea to have something a bit brighter, and I thought, well, I'll have a fox. I haven't got a fox suit, so I'll have a fox. And it was like, how do I put a high visibility jacket? Safety fox. And it was just like, this seems a brilliant idea. And it's like, my suit builder I went to said, right, I haven't got a design, here's a rough picture of what I want. Can you make me this fox with bright yellow and white as if it's a high visibility jacket, and he's going to be a health and safety officer and go around with a clipboard and stripes. And it just formed literally from that one instant idea and developed into a safety officer that's a bit silly and goes around telling people off for doing anything.
But don't go there.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. No, you cannot go out here. And it works because you can portray it as a character by pushing people out of the dangerous area, taping things off. People like it. It's entertaining. So as far as I'm concerned with the character, that was where I wanted to arrive at. It was a fun character.
But if you are in character, playing your character with energy, as you said, then people will buy it, I think. It's not, they don't go say, oh, that does have X in it, that does have boxes are supposed to be. Then buy it.
I always counter anyone that tells me you can't have a character like that with why not. Because I walk out there and I can see a bright blue, orange and pink fox walking past, and I'm like, that's not a natural colour scheme. I'm sorry, but...
Don't tell me.
Exactly.
I'm in blue, white, food.
This is exactly it.
I think this illustrates something that comes from improv theatre, in that what you want to do is take a very simple concept, a very obvious concept, and be obvious with it, and then the character plays itself, because you've got a concept that is somebody who is a safety officer. You do things that safety officers do very obviously, and everyone believes in the character and loves the character because it's something that they can relate to. I mean, an audience loves things where they can guess what the character is about to do, because it makes them feel like they are doing the right thing and they are following the plot to a sense. And the same thing works with fursuits, characters that do obvious things. You don't have to try and be original and wacky and weird. Take a simple concept and develop a character around it. And that's actually, I didn't realise tonight, it's a very good example of that principle. Yeah.
How many people know pantomime?
Know about it or know how to...
Know about it. Not long as it. Right.
I know what it is, but I don't remember
You know what
which
it
words. It's like pantomime. Yeah, I know.
I've never heard of the
It's a
character.
very old form of sort of theatre comedy,
Yeah.
and there's an expectation that there will at one point be a phrase, he's behind you, and he'll turn around, of course they're not there, keep doing it again, you get the baddie come on, we have to boo and hiss, and it's, people know what they're expecting, they know
They
they're
put up the floor.
yeah, it's the whole point is they're expecting comedy and they know what they're after and they get it. They get the man dressed up as the woman, as the dame, and Buttons comes on with buttons, surprisingly enough. And it's obvious to people when they see it, but it's characters that they want to see. They are expecting to see a certain. Everyone plays it differently, but it's not the point of how they play it. It's more the fact that they are playing a role there. So we can do it with suits as well, as you say.
A little question. Since theatre, could you imagine a theatre or theatre with the fursuit? So does that take away too much from the actor's bit?
I don't think necessarily that
It's going to be a bore for the four actors.
It'd be very boring. It'd also be a bit difficult to interact if you're not expecting it. But the general rule of thumb is that if you're going to warn someone about performance, then they're going to have a rough idea of what's happened. I think it's a good thing.
So I was going to ask, does anyone have any personal experience then of having a character in mind and how they transform that into performance and things like that?
Yeah. When I created my character, I had like this idea that it was this feline, it was going to be a strong character, it was going to be like a little caddy in the way it walked. And when I first got the suit on, I noticed really quick that this was not how the character was going to be. It was so strange, it was because I was very excited when I got my suit, so I jumped around, I was like, okay, this is a happy character. So that was really a case of the suit and me attacking the suit, changing the character, and me just rolling with it.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. That's definitely true, because there's a big difference between planning a character and playing it, and you'll always find they'll surprise you with something about when you actually see yourself in suit, things will change. Yeah.
Just seeing how on the counter that.
Sorry, you have something to say as well?
I suppose. It's just like you said, it's kind of similar when I was building, what she said, her story is kind of similar to mine. It's like when I was building my character, I built my fursuit head and I got parts commissioned, but that's a story for another day. Well, when I was building my character, my character is heavily based off of my personal traits and how I feel I, am, how represented I am and all that good jazz. And when I finished the suit and I started wearing it, my character, I was like, okay, this is going to be a super, suggestive and really pretty and really vain, but still kind of respectful character. And, I know exactly how I want her to be. And then it's like when I got her on, I was like, nah, man, she's like jumpy, happy, and she's gonna act like a puppy, and she's gonna be adorable, but at the same time she's gonna be bashful, and it's like it totally changed. She's still the same, but it's like the in-suit character is the suit character is different from the actual character. It's like the drawn character. It's weird.
I agree totally with her. Since when I did my first suit ever, Niena, I was kind of thinking she would be like happy, smiley, go lucky, jumping around. And nowadays she has turned to more like myself, a neat freak, to have to keep my fur in place. And of course she's very, very female, so she's very proud of her bust. So
adjusting myself, walking around.
And of course when she's doing the cutie thingy, but it wasn't what I thought about at first, that she would be like more like me, but have one trait more that I don't do.
It scared me at first. I thought I was doing something wrong. I was like, am I doing the suit thing wrong? I thought I was like,
oh my god, it's good. I had to restrain her around kids for some reason.
Kids scare me.
What's the favorite characterization and actors working with the characters that they got?
Yeah, and actually, there's a lot of discussion about this, which I've done some reading up on something called mask improv, and this is a section of improv where they basically get people together and they'll put a mask on them and they'll just show them a mirror and they'll say, play that character. Just instantly start, look at what you see and play that character. And this is where I think your experiences come from, because when you see yourself in that mask, certain ways that character looks influence how you act.
Yeah.
And that's just how it works.
That's what every good
the design. Yeah.
You can't really build a suit and expect it to be exactly like you thought
Yeah,
about.
because my face is me. She is everything I want to be.
I guess
And
mine is mine too.
yeah,
Anyway.
she's like everything I want to be, and like still part me that I think I don't know. I could
But
be
the mask itself takes on its own personality, and when you've got an idea of it to start with, when you start playing that, when you start seeing that character in the mirror, when you wear it, I call it the magic, which is kind of pretentious as far as is concerned, but it is. There is a certain, even in improv, people talk about this, the idea that the mask controls the user, because the look of the mask affects the way that person acts within it.
Definitely.
And it's just true, and you can't expect, and you have to sit in, so you can do all the planning you want up front, but when you put it on, it's going to change subtly, and you're going to see yourself differently
You can talk to any actor from amateur to professional and in between, and you can have the same experience and the same saying of how they take part of their personality and it changes when they come to on stage.
It will be so fun to get some of these people that know about improv and mask acting and stuff and get them to come to a furry con and talk about it, share those experiences. Actually, if you look at some of the videos online of these people, they look like complete nutters. They put this mask on and they just start shrieking and running around the room. They're like in this weird hypnotic trance almost, I think. Because I think what happens is in these workshops they work them up to this frenzy-like state, then shove the mask on them and yeah, they just go crazy.
Makes you wonder if the mask is like base with something.
Yeah.
Maybe it has a soul of its own.
Well, it's true, because they even comment on this, the fact that someone will wear a certain mask with a certain look to it, and they'll start saying certain things, and they'll move in certain ways, and they'll take it to a different workshop, and put the same mask on somebody, and they'll start doing the exact same things. Because it just suggests the same things.
Now, question for people. I'll come to you in just one second. Has anyone had a character they've got into as a suit and they're not connected with it, not known how to portray it, not known what to do with it?
I did that since I was designing a character just for fun's sake for LARP, and that's actually the girl that left us. She has a full suit called Raccoony. Her character, I tried her bodysuit on and head and everything. I didn't feel like nothing worked. I could not move. I just stood there.
Was it hard character?
Hard. I could not
Maybe
connect.
that
It was not mine.
You
She
see,
did that perfectly.
maybe that's the point. It's not your
Yeah,
character.
no, I designed her.
Oh, but you designed her for her.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, the head I did with before she even was
Oh,
interested in it. So the body count afterwards.
Oh, okay.
There was afterwards I tried it on again.
I also put my hand up and say that I've had that experience. I bought a suit that I
It's
didn't
weird.
really think about. Like Pazuzu, I didn't think about his personality at all. I didn't do anything with him until I put him on, and he just didn't speak to me. It didn't
No.
feel right. I went out with him a couple of times. No, just didn't
It's
work
like
for me.
you create something and it hasn't. It's life of its own.
It's very interesting because I had the same thing happen as well with one particular suit, which was designed to be a sort of run-around fursuit games convention type suit that was cheaper, so I didn't mind if I sort of fell over it or damaged it. And then it was a case I put it on, wore it around a few times to try and get used to it, and I just had no idea. Well, I couldn't get into it. I had no idea what I wanted to do. No
Looks
idea
in the
how
mirror.
to
Who are you?
In the end, I've sold the suit because I just cannot portray it in any way. I don't know what to do with it. So that was one.
Yeah.
It was the thing with the masks. I've experienced that before, but not with masks because I don't have a suit. But just change of clothes and like doing something else. Like sometimes I do LARP too, and putting on the other my other clothes or whatever to call it. When I'm in that role, just transform me to a totally different person. Or when I'm businessy and put on a suit, I act totally different.
That's it.
Totally different than what I would do like in normal life.
And it's about, I mean, suiting for me anyway, I feel it's about pushing away those layers that you put in front of yourself as a human being and letting the suit itself take over. I'm not talking about something weird where you suddenly go into some hypnotic state and start wandering around thinking that you're character. But you certainly do feel like you're armoured against the way that people perceive you when you're in a suit, you know, because as soon as you're wearing that mask, you become that character. You don't have to worry about the way that people perceive you as a human. You can totally let go and just play the character, and that's the best way to do it. Don't think about yourself as yourself. Think about yourself as the character, and just get into it. And
The freedom
just
of
let it
being
take
something someone else.
Yeah, that's it. And just let that carry you along. And there are points I've had it, and I get it even now, where I feel like I'm not performing very well. I'm not moving enough. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And just forget about that. Just let it take you with it. You know, just enjoy it as an experience.
I get worried because of the way my suit is built. I have a lot of padding, and a thing I worry about is I can't perform as well as I'd like to because of certain restrictions in how the suit is actually built. Like I can't bend over and do like really cute things because I can't bend over.
Restrictions on your suit are something you have to get used to with construction. I have one that I can't crouch down properly in because it's got leg padding at the back, and you can sort of do a little cute, but it looks kind of a bit like you're falling over. It's funny, but it's not very pleasant.
It's fine, but not on purpose.
But you can do different things in different suits. The latest suit that I got from this builder, I can do pretty much anything I can do normally. I can run as fast as I can normally in the suit, and the vision is acceptable, so I can see where I'm going. So I have no problem with running around and oh, there's a road there. It's like, yes, there it is. You can see it, it's there, it's fine.
You want to watch me run down it?
Probably not. I'm not that silly. A little bit.
So are there any techniques that other people use to get in character when they put a suit on them? Is there anything special tricks that you use to help you just get into the zone?
Make a bunch of weird faces in the mirror with the mask on.
Really?
Yeah, just say random, like the first thing that pops into your head, like just say it and like look at yourself in the suit. Like it doesn't matter if it makes no sense that you say what you're saying, just like say it and then make a weird face or two. Look at yourself from like different angles and like if you have a different expression from certain angles. And it's like, oh cool, yeah, I can. And then you get pumped and then you go out and do the suit thing.
Yeah, that's good.
My main character is pretty much me, so representation of me, so I'm pretty much myself, but a little bit
Just go straight into it. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's the same with me. I mean, I just need to look in the mirror with the mask on, and I just feel it. I see myself, and I see the character, and then it just comes in that way. I think it's good to kind of clear your mind a bit, and maybe even surprise yourself by closing your eyes, then opening them and looking at yourself in the mirror like that. That gives you that switch.
It's fun because it will be fun to have a professional actor in this one, because I can imagine that they would not use it, of course, but they would recognize much of what we are talking about here and how they build characters and so on, and how they think the very thing that happen when they're in Zoom.
I mean, the research you've been doing into this kind of thing, it makes me really want to try out going to improv classes, increasing my sort of knowledge of improv. I mean, especially in terms of Pazuzu, because a talking suit has a lot more of the improv about it, because you're constantly reacting and so on.
I actually have a question. With the talking suit, how do you feel it's best to react when you're faced with a silent suit?
Yeah.
Because I feel it's very difficult to be a talking suit interacting with a silent suit.
There's two things that come into mind. When you have a different suit interacting with another one, you have different characters. They react differently to things. They're not necessarily going to be the same. A realistic suit that's scary and big and a cute 2D suit might have somebody's difficulty interacting because they're trying to portray a different thing. There's a thing known as blocking, which is shutting down on somebody's performance or not reacting to them. You can get that from the public, but you can also get that from other suitors. Some see it as arrogant, some see it as you're actually maintaining your character as being, I'm a legionnaire, I'm not going to be beneath me. But the important thing to do is remember that there's somebody portraying something and there's somebody portraying something in the other character. So as long as you interact, there's very little issue. So you can mind things. If we have Pazuzu being big and scary to poor little defenseless, cute little cat, just because
I'd never do that.
Never. Just because he's acting big and scary and seeing all of the, I would eat your soul. Why can you not react to that as a silent suitor? Hide behind something and do something else. There is interaction on different ways. You don't have to speak back to be able to interact with someone. You think about talking to somebody out on the street, you just talk to them normally. If you're in a suit, you want to convey an idea to them, they're still going to be asking you questions, but you have to talk to them with your movements. So
And that's what I'd say as well, is that silent suitors are completely used to people talking to them, because everybody who isn't in a suit talks to them all the time and interacts with them. What you probably shouldn't do, is a bad thing, is to try and call attention to the fact that they don't talk and you do.
Yeah.
So just accept it as people are out of suit, accept it. and don't make them feel like they have to talk back to you or anything. Yeah.
But the good thing is, if you have a person that don't talk in suit, the good thing is to have a handler or someone that can explain. They don't talk, blah blah blah.
Yeah, that is the worst thing. When I've been in silent suits, it's members of the public that don't understand that you don't talk, or you don't want to talk.
They can be very hard for some
Yeah.
to get that they don't want to talk, and they're trying to push them to talk.
But you get the same thing with a talking suit. Because you're talking in character, the public think that you're insane. I had one character who was like, actually this is the character that I eventually didn't connect with, but he was a stoner dragon. I went into a furcon dance and I was walking around acting like, hey, wow, look at the colours, man. It's like, look at all the animals, they're just everywhere. And I was in a suit. And people thought that I needed escorting out or I was in trouble. Something like, are you really high or something?
Just good at acting. But there are other ones, like with Silver, I don't talk. The main reason I don't talk is because I can't sound like I want to with him. I cannot put on the big, growly, impressive, baritone type voice because that's not how I can talk. I can do accents, I can do other things, but I cannot get the right voice, so I don't do it. But with Growler, I also don't talk, but I do bark occasionally.
Never heard you bark.
That's because I haven't really been on stage much when you see me with a microphone. When somebody gives me a microphone and I'm with him, I do bark because I know how to get it to sound like a real bark on a speaker system. Practice is amazing with these sorts of things, but it's giving the right thing. The right character. I mean, you can do silly noises, you can do big noises, you can do barks, you can do growls, but
Howling is easiest for everybody.
howling is
Yeah.
Squeakers, yeah.
Just make a big loud noise and touch it.
Aww.
Just
Yeah.
get.
voice performance. We're covering more than we thought. This is good.
I find that like there are interesting, not only are there like only silent suitors and talking suitors, but there are people that are like an in between where they're silent like most of the time, and then they say a word or two to like help the person understand what they're trying to. I do that. I help the person try to convey like what they're trying to tell the person what they're trying to convey. Like if you're doing something and the person's still not getting it, they'll use like a helper word and a cute little accent or whatever accent of the character you're trying to portray, and then it'll click, and then you're like, yeah, there you go, now you're getting what I'm trying to say, and noises and squeaks.
I actually did that too because I was so, when I got into first suitings, I was not sure if I should talk or not, so it became like an in-between thing, and then it gave like a childish look to the character, so it's become like, yay, and then like small words and stuff. It's like simple.
Ball and no.
Yeah, I think certainly cute furry characters do lend themselves to that kind of personality of being. You do talk, but you talk very simplistically. You talk simple words and things like that. Yeah, that really works. I mean, a lot of my characters talk way too much. But yeah.
I have a both, but I'm cat personality, so the fun thing is that wolf tends to go around and say meow all the time. Just like she thinks that he's a cat. It's not around natural, but that's how he has developed it.
Yeah. I suppose the accent is a big thing. I mean, I couldn't walk around and talk in my normal voice in a suit. I think it would just be wrong, and it wouldn't let me have that disconnect between me and my character. So I think being able to have an accent that suits the character and fits with it. And I guess that's the difficult thing, like you say. If you can't find an accent that works for your character, then you're a bit stuck with the whole speaking.
The only strange thing that I have noticed in the past has been that it's far more common to speak in suit in America than it is over in Europe.
Yeah.
And I've never ever had anyone explain to me why that is, or even have an idea.
We like to talk a lot.
Yeah.
That's good.
We're big mouths.
Yeah, it's like he said, we have many minds, but that's also because if you go to Tivoli, or what's it called? Tivoli. Amusement park. You have people like dressed up as Lisebergskaninen, a green bunny.
With the bunny ears.
We're not allowed to talk. If you talk, you can get your a job like lost. And so it's, I think, very hard in Germany, or not Germany, Paris. It's the old mind, they were quiet, and that's what we Scandinavian has taken over.
And
Silency.
yeah, and maybe it's built on stereotype, but I feel like Scandinavians are a little more silent in general.
Yeah, more
but
quiet.
yeah,
Because they don't want to express themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like shyness.
Yeah, that's kind of
That's
how
how
we
we
raised,
describe
right?
it.
Not to talk so much, not to.
But when you say it's more common in America for them to speak, is that in character or just out of character?
In character and out of character.
Okay.
The only time I tend to speak to anybody when I'm in suit is when it's to somebody I directly know and can do it quietly in their ear, or I have a problem that I need to communicate to a staff member. And I want to say to them, there's a problem over there, you need to go and deal with it. I will just speak normally straight to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, for example, in Sweden, even though I'm a furry and not like as I'm like here, when I'm going to town and ask people just a simple question, where does this bus go, for example, people look at you like they don't want to talk to you. It's like they're afraid of me.
I'm not gonna bite, man.
Yeah, very many people like just waves and go. So I think it's something like you're invading their privacy, or there's a certain space, a bubble, like they're living in a huge bubble.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. I
feel like I don't belong in Sweden.
Yeah, like I was born and raised in the States, and I've actually just recently moved to Sweden, and Americans are very open with one another, and you can just walk down the street and be like, "Hey, person," and he'll be like, "Oh, hi, other person. We're gonna have a conversation because we're friends now, person." And like in Scandinavia, it takes longer to form bonds.
Also in England, though. England's pretty
Yeah, in Europe in general, in the United Kingdom, I don't know, I've never been to the UK, but it takes a little more time to form bonds, a little longer to trust people, and it takes a while, and it doesn't mean everyone here is a butt face. It's just
They're just afraid of
it's
other
different.
people.
It's different here. It's a different culture. Back in the old days of Sweden, everyone was a farmer, so they lived like far away from one another. So it was like we didn't talk to each other very much. And now that we're cultured, civilized folk,
Anyway, sorry.
I also think that Americans seem to be more used to parades and big events like
It's
that.
actually a
Maybe
mature
that's the
community, I
problem.
think. I think the first week has been going on longer in America, and they've been more concentrated together, so the taboos have kind of slowly disappeared. So it was a really big taboo only about, say, 5 years ago to talk or take your head off in public, and now, people do it.
I think the Swedes are very open compared to Finns. In my opinion. I think because, for example, in Finland, people live in rural areas where neighbors might be 1 kilometer away, so there's not much community things happening like in maybe US where people live in very tight cities and maybe that's the reason.
Sorry, you had a question.
Yeah. When I was in America, I noticed something like really different from Sweden. It's like how open and nerdy people are. Like they're all nerds in Sweden, but they're like unless like me, I wear nerd shirts and everything everywhere. But like none of my friends do. And I think that's kind of weird. But like when I went to America, like everyone was wearing like Star Wars, Star Trek shirts, like all over the place. I'm like, wow, really?
I think
it really depends on what city
part
you
of
go
our culture in Nordic state is not to advertise ourselves as an individual.
That's what I meant with the parades and showing them in characters, and we're used to that sort of event.
Yeah.
Cultural things do have a big effect on it. There is the stenciling effect, which a lot of people will probably be familiar with over here. Where everyone must have a Volvo, everyone must have a little cottage in the country, everyone must do this. And if it's not within my normal accepted parameters, I'm going to ignore it, and it doesn't exist. Therefore, I pretend it exists, unless it doesn't. But generally speaking, once you have moved past that sort of initial thing, you have a common interest or a reason to talk to someone out here, I've found immensely good conversation with different people and people that I've never met before because we've got common interest and we've been able to connect on something. Somebody opens the door. The door.
Leave the door open a bit, get a bit warm. Go back to the topic a little bit. But certainly, so one of the things that I find really useful, as you probably all know, is if you see yourself on video, that is the biggest thing that prompts me to change the way that I act and the way that I move. Because when you see yourself not moving in the way that complements the character, it makes a big difference. So just looking in the mirror is one thing, but seeing an actual video of yourself, it really makes a big difference, and it can really affect your performance. So if you're trying to define a character and bringing yourself along like that, get someone to take some video of you and watch it. And to be honest, I hate watching video of myself. I find it really difficult, but I like it because it lets me see where I'm going wrong. So that's good. We can talk about one of the other things that helps to define the character is obviously you are an animal, so try and adopt the animal behaviours of that animal, or even adopt the animal behaviours of a different animal to kind of accent that. Now, it's not something that I tend to do because I do non-real animals, but does anyone else have any experience of like things that they've used from the animal that they've based their character on? Yeah. Brought into their movements, say, obviously the way that you move is important.
Well, he doesn't have a fursuit, but like I'm working on getting one for him. But coyotes, in Mexico and coyotes are very closely linked, and I have a Mexican coyote character that like loves tacos and wears a sombrero, and he has a very, very thick Mexican accent. So a lot of like the culture and like what he is and stuff really influences the character and how he acts.
Yeah, that's good.
And in the animal community, I've noticed that a lot of first do like the thing with the paws being like going also with the first like on outing or something, and also like everyone was going with their paws up there, and I think it was kind of cute, but like instantly.
Posing is important. It tells you what the character wants to do, if they're friendly, if they're happy, if they're a squirrel, for example. Lots of
yeah, exactly.
We have Hawk's character, who's played by somebody who lives in Brighton, in the south coast of England, who has a rat suit. And she's one of the only people I've ever seen to portray a rat believably, because there's constant scratching going on.
Yeah, is it the black rat?
It is indeed a black rat.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. It's really like a little
Very
rat.
realistic, yeah.
It gives me creeps when I see it.
She
I
rolls
don't
over
have
on her
rats.
back
I
and
love
stuff
rats.
as well.
That one's kind of whoa.
It's little bits like that, just even tucking behind you, cleaning. It's very, very good to reinforce the characterisation you're trying to go for.
Yeah, and I think it's really possible to get stuck in, because you see all the other suitors doing certain movements and certain poses and things, you can get stuck in the cliche, and it's good to break out of that and go for something that's individually you, and that helps you define the character as someone who's different, and you really stand out at that point, because you're not doing the poses that all the other suitors are doing, you're doing your own personal poses. So developing things that either come from your idea of the character, come from the animal that it's based on, or just something unique that you can do as a person, or handstands maybe, or whatever.
Like having a walk saying meow.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And I think, obviously, because the thing about furry is that it came from the mascotting culture, and it developed its own kind of cliches. So breaking out of those is always a good thing, because it helps you be unique. Yeah. Let's see. So we're going to talk about props, but I think that's kind of
We've done some props, but props are important if you're going to have a particular thing you want to highlight in a character, like if you want to play a warrior wolf, you really want big giant staff like cosplay ones. And people familiar with anime cons? The big sort of ridiculously large foam things that you think, I'd get arrested if I was even carrying that. But it portrays what you want to do. It makes it easier to show what the character wants to do, if they're friendly, if they're not friendly. Steampunk that we have out there, there's a few things that quite look like a backpack with some lights and a few bits of steam. Goggles. Goggles.
Yeah.
Always the goggles.
Always the goggles. A Victorian dress, proper trim thing. If anyone goes,
you had the armour on, didn't you? In your fursuit? Did you have armour on? No. Somebody else.
No,
Okay,
I don't even have a suit.
Okay, sorry.
But there's been expos before where I've seen the full dress, and it's so impressive. You can't not be sort of thinking, all that is a dress with a few bits of pipe stuck on it, and you think, but I'm not looking just at that, I'm looking at the whole performance, the whole way they're moving, what they're telling me, how they're speaking, the things they do, and it gives you the whole character. That's very good.
Hold on.
Dollars. Sometimes helps, but it can be a bit standard for some people, unless it's a different sort of thing. They don't tend to react to it very well. The cats tend to have the little bell that Trax wears, you know, the nice big bell, and people go up to it, even suits, and you just start playing with it. You think, what am I doing?
What am I doing?
Why am I stuck at
This.
Yeah, that's annoying.
And you can't help it.
No.
But it works with the character. It has to be tailored to the individual. It doesn't suit everybody. But I think it's really good. But you just look at the character and what you're trying to do. If you want to be a princess, for example, one of the ones we have, Nithia, in the UK, who wears a crown on the top, has fur and white gloves, a proper dress, and portrays the princess extremely well. Because the light, floaty attitude, princesses don't walk, they glide over the floor. And it's important to be as your character would be, so a few little details and wrist jewelry sometimes.
One thing with that is I tried to put this color on my wolf character, but sometimes I thought it was gonna be a good color combination and so on. But when I tried that thought in my head, he was no, not me.
Blue, yeah. Can sometimes not work. Is that all of the bits?
I don't know, more or less. Yeah.
More or less, right. In that case, we have two things we need to do. Firstly, does anyone have any questions about anything?
I would have a very basic question.
Go with your very
It's
basic
burning
question.
under my nails. I just have to ask. You yourself do have a realistic and a very toony suit. So, what are your experiences? What comes better? I mean, I heard some opinion, some guys who said, well, think about this realistic suit, maybe get a toony one, so it's more usable at conventions. So you're not just standing around and.
Really and truthfully, it's down to the individual wearing it, because I've had silver at fur dances, I've had him at conventions, I run around, I do silly things. One of the comments I once got was, "You're running around in a realistic suit, but what happens if it gets broken or damaged or something?" It's like, that could happen anywhere, and it could happen to any suit, so why am I worrying? I'm not going to treat this like a glass thing and keep it in a box and never take it out, because what's the point? I wouldn't enjoy it and other people wouldn't enjoy it. The thing to do is know your limits and know what you can do in your suit. Respect your vision problems, understand what you can do with it. The toony suits are more common, that's without a doubt, and there are a lot of people that prefer the toony styled suits because they're used to cartoon characters, they're used to that particular aspect of it. But I find, generally speaking, at conventions, the toony suits will get far more attention because less people appreciate the realistic qualities of it. But different characters, different things. I mean, I could never have had Silvermade as a toony suit. He had to be realistic. So that's what I've always pictured, that's what I got. But in general, the realistic suits attract less attention at conventions. However, at things like anime conventions, comic cons, cosplay gatherings, all of that kind of thing, the realistic suit attracts far more attention because it's something different and it looks more like something you'd see in a film or something else. You have questions?
Well, I'll just add to that and say that and my experiences are kind of similar. I think when someone sees a realistic suit, they tend to be like, it's fairly impressive, it's something they want to look at and examine. When they see a toony suit, it's something they want to jump on and hug and cuddle, and it's like, wow, and they do interact with it more simply because I think it engenders a different reaction in the people looking at it more than anything else. It's not that they think that it's fragile or whatever, it's just, it creates a certain effect in the mind, yeah, definitely, and that's what it is. And that's,
it's like a deeper respect for the realistic one, like, wow, look at all that detail.
it's
and
also
all that
slightly
kind of
scary.
art.
I mean,
It's like a piece of art. You would go hug a piece of art.
Semi-realistic.
And that's why in a way, I
He can open a jaw, so he shares a moving jaw.
that's why I decided to create Susie as a talking suit, because when you've got a realistic suit and you're silent and no one interacts with you, well, you're just kind of like a moving statue. But when you're talking to people and making them interact with you, then it gets a lot more fun as a performer. And, so for realistic suits, I'd recommend it if you can do it.
But if you have a realistic things like badges you have and stuff could also help get interaction. Like this one always tends to get hugs and so on. So it's how you portray it and what you add to it.
Now this is a semi-realistic suit. What's the character's name?
She doesn't have a name yet.
She doesn't have a name.
Because I haven't connected with her, so I'm going to sell her. Just because I made her for making me feel a character for myself. Since I'm a split character inside. I'm a half wolf and a half feline. They're separate. Like one is tiger and one wolf. They're not a hybrid. And Liana has become
I
part
should
of
call this
something.
Kitty for now.
Yeah, it's just
It's easier. But the semi-realistic suits are, generally speaking, there are less builders that build these than anything else because they find it hard to mix in the big nose toony quality with the realistic eyes and other things. But they will generally get a good reaction from most
I
people.
haven't scared anybody, and very many people have been like, oh, like, this is so cute. Even though I'm not fully.
I mean, for the first time, sorry, you did.
No, I'll just mention you said that the realistic got less tension. I really feel like when it comes to realistic suit, it's like in celebrity, it's like whoa, this is.
Yeah.
I can see that, but I don't really like that standoffishness that people have. It's nice to. I mean, I love that interaction. And interestingly, the first time ever, this year, I got a toony suit, and it is just such a different experience to walk around in it and the reactions that you get. But I found it's more difficult for me to stay silent now that I've been talking so much. So I need to find a happy medium there. Yeah.
Any more questions?